Taurus isn't stubborn. They're terrified the body will disappear. This is the bull. The old world put flowers on its horns because it could feed a city. Gold you can hold. Bread you can break. Earth under the nails. A door you can lock. Taurus is the part of you that will not believe in anything it cannot touch. Jung called it the sensation function. If I can't hold it, it isn't real. That's why they hoard, why they won't leave, why love feels like a fortress. Taurus. The body that believes. Before the sign was a calendar, it was a story a princess carried across the sea on the back of a bull, trusting muscle more than map, flesh more than prophecy. Europa did not chase wealth. She climbed onto something alive, warm and terrifying, and let it take her where no argument could follow. The Cretan bull was not a monster first. It was sacred breath in muscle, garlands on horns, the earth made to move under its own power. In Egypt, APIs wore the sun between his shoulders. When the bull died, priests searched for his soul in a calf's markings, as if holiness could be verified by touch. These myths do not praise greed. They praise what cannot be argued away: weight, heat, the stubborn fact of a body crossing water without permission. Zeus took the shape of the bull because power, to be believed, had to become touchable, not thunder from a cloud, but breath you could smell on your wrist. Crete received Europa the way soil receives seed, without contract, without hurry, with absolute acceptance that what arrives belongs to the ground it lands on. Minos inherited a kingdom from that union, and from the bull's shadow came the labyrinth, beauty twisted when the sacred is caged and fed on fear. The bull-leaping frescoes of Knossos show what Taurus remembers. Joy is not abstract. It is hooves leaving the ground and returning with the whole body laughing. When Athens sent youths into the maze, the terror was not the monster alone, it was being trapped inside someone else's hoarded power, lost to touch and sun. Every bull myth ends the same way if you listen closely. The body crosses water, the body is hidden, the body must be found again before the city can eat. Taurus carries that archive in the chest, not as nostalgia, but as proof that reality once rode an animal into the unknown and called the arrival home. Jung sorted the mind into 4 functions, and most modern life trains you to live in 2 of them, as if the hands were decorative, the senses were lies, and the body were a vehicle for thoughts alone. Thinking asks what it means. Feeling asks what it is worth. Intuition asks what comes next. Each answer arrives faster than the body can verify. Sensation asks the oldest question: what is it, right here, in my hand? And it will wait for an answer that includes temperature, texture, and weight. For the sensation type, the world arrives before language, color, grain, temperature, the click of a lid, the oil on bread, the pause before a name is remembered. Slowness is not laziness in this function. It is the time required for matter to become trustworthy, the same patience stone uses to become soil. A Taurus mind does not skip steps because each step is evidence, proof that the ground will hold, proof that the coin is real metal and not a promise printed on air. Jung wrote that inferior functions become compulsions. When sensation is denied, the body starts making demands in secret: midnight eating, shopping, scrolling, anything to feel. The person who lives only in ideas may mock the gardener, the cook, the one who counts coins twice, and envy their sleep without admitting the envy is physical, the insult a defense against a wisdom they have not earned in their fingers. Matter is not low. It is the archive of every promise kept, a meal finished, a debt paid, a door locked at night, a body held until breathing slows. To develop sensation consciously is to learn pleasure without swallowing the world whole, to taste without owning the vineyard, to touch without claiming the skin. The bull does not meditate on abstraction. It chews, listens, stands in rain. That is a philosophy older than books, presence repeated until it becomes character. When you meet a Taurus patient, you are meeting a nervous system that refuses to sign contracts with ghosts, only with what can be weighed, warmed, and returned. Every gift casts a shadow, and the Taurus shadow is the bunker, the cellar door, the spare key hidden where no guest will ever look without permission, the feast stored against a famine that may never come. The same hands that build a home can bar the windows when change knocks, calling safety what is only suspended grief, love turned into architecture against loss. Greed, in Jung's language, is not always money. It is the refusal to let reality flow, to let seasons change, to let children leave, to let love breathe out and in. Freeze looks like calm. Inside, the body is shouting, if I move, I lose everything I have proven, every coin counted, every promise nailed to the floor. Jealousy visits the sensation soul like a hand closing on sand, the tighter the grip, the less remains, and still the hand believes it is saving something precious. They hoard affection the way others hoard receipts, proof that love happened, proof it cannot vanish untested, proof against a world that moves too fast to be held. The shadow bull is not the garlanded god. It is the stockyard muscle without ceremony, value without mercy, the body reduced to what it can be sold for. When Taurus refuses to leave a job, a city, a person, ask what body memory is being protected from exile, what early hunger taught them that leaving equals vanishing. The freeze breaks not with argument but with one honest sensation, cold water on wrists, fresh bread torn open, a hand that stays without claiming ownership of the skin. Integration does not mean becoming reckless. It means learning that holding and strangling are different verbs, and the body can tell which one you are using. In the tarot, Taurus walks beside the Hierophant, keeper of keys, voice of what repeats because it works, priest of the obvious made sacred by repetition, guardian of the threshold between hunger and law. Two acolytes kneel not from weakness but from apprenticeship, learning the body of tradition before inventing a new one, respecting what time has already tested. Venus rules this sign, and Venus is not only romance. She is the law of attraction in matter, what pulls seed to soil, what pulls hand to hand without violence. Earth is the element that refuses to perform. It does not flash like fire or vanish like air. It stays and stays until even grief has a place to sit down. The Hierophant's keys open doors that were never meant to be flashy, larders, root cellars, marriage chests, ledgers, rooms where survival and devotion share a lock. A Taurus ritual is rarely theatrical. It is the same tea at the same hour, the bench worn smooth by returning, the prayer that looks like habit until habit becomes holiness. To honor Venus here is to make beauty durable, clay, copper, linen, the slow gleam of something cared for across years until it becomes part of the body's calendar. The bull beneath the altar is not sacrificed to cruelty. It is remembered, flesh as covenant between heaven and furrow, hunger and gratitude sharing one breath. How does Taurus love? First, by staying, not as punishment, not as proof of victory, but as attendance to the fact that you are still here, still warm, still real, still worth the daily cost of presence. Devotion, for this sign, is attendance, showing up when nothing is novel, when the story is only maintenance and warmth, when love is laundry and shared silence. Possession whispers a different promise: if you are mine, you cannot disappear. It mistakes ownership for safety and calls control a form of care. The lover who confuses the two builds a museum of kisses, dates, locks, saved messages, and wonders why the beloved feels caged among trophies of affection. Touch is the native language. A hand on the back, bread broken in half, shoes placed by the door, these are paragraphs written without ink, understood without translation. When betrayed, Taurus does not always explode. Sometimes the body simply revokes access, warmth withdrawn like a tide, doors closed without speech, absence a sentence, love retreating to where it can be verified again. To love a Taurus well, do not rush their yes. Let your presence accumulate until it weighs as much as truth, until their body relaxes without being asked to perform trust. They forgive slowly because forgiveness, to them, must be embodied, rebuilt room by room, not declared in a speech that costs nothing to perform. The healthiest bull in love grazes in open field, loyal, sensual, unafraid that abundance will end if the fence comes down, trusting the grass to return. Choose devotion over possession and you will find what the myths promised, a body that believes, and lets another body believe too, two presences, not one owner and one object. At the end of the labyrinth, the bull rests, not conquered, not tame, simply breathing in the quiet it fought to keep, horns lowered, garlands faded, still sacred, still belonging to the earth that never asked it to disappear. What are you still holding?